He's going to look to throw. Felton's way again. There's the Maryland touchdown. 19 yards to Tai Felton, Luke, and Maryland has tied the game.
Welcome back to TCO Studios for a very special draft edition of the Vikings Film Room. Now, with the Vikings' third-round selection, they decide on Tai Felton, wide receiver out of the University of Maryland. Now, Tai Felton comes here not only with the 4.37 40, but with 9 touchdowns his senior season, 8 of which were in the red zone. Let's take a look at the film and see what Tai Felton can bring to this wide receiver corps. Now, when you pop on the film of Tai Felton, the first thing you're going to notice is he's a red zone threat. 8 of his 9 touchdowns last year were in the red zone. The second thing you're going to notice is he lines up all over the place. Sometimes he's a slot, sometimes he's a wideout. A lot of flexibility in that regard. But his ability to run routes, especially in the confined spaces in the red zone, is what I like best about him. We're going to see a perfect example of that right here against Iowa. This is going to be cat coverage pretty much on this side of the field. If you notice, everybody's bunched up on this side of the defense, and you've got 1, 2, 3 on 1, 2, 3. That's good news for the offense if they can keep the quarterback upright. Watch what happens here. Felton makes his way up to about the goal line. You see this corner's jumping this short route. The safety's trying to get down on here. Felton knows exactly where he needs to go. And by the way, runs himself his own little pick, sprints to the spot in the corner of the end zone, catches it 2 feet in bounds. He is so good in these red area routes. Well, let's see some more. Another example of his savviness, let's call it, in the red zone, right? Maryland on the outside is going to do what? They're going to run a double post to try to pull these 2 defenders out of the picture to open up the outside. This is something that the Vikings do. The teams in the NFL do this. But what's great is Tai Felton takes his time getting off the line of scrimmage because he doesn't want to get himself too deep. He just wants to mess around, get that linebacker to set his feet, sprints to the outside, turn, and then has that 4.37 40 to get to the corner of the end zone. Now, why is the red zone so important? Why do I harp on the red zone? It's because this is football in a box, right? This is confined quarters. Your routes have to be perfect. Your timing has to be perfect. This right here is designed to get Felton open. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. Watch down here at the bottom. You've got a corner, man-to-man against this receiver. This guy's just doing a dance at the line, trying to hold him in. Why? They want to open up the back corner of the end zone. So as soon as Felton sees this one-on-one, he nods to the middle of the field to try to get this DB to settle, and then he's sprinting right to the corner of the end zone. This quarterback already knows what's going on and who's going to be open, and it's Tai Felton right there. Look at that sprint, look back for the ball, great adjustment, creates some space. This guy is an excellent red zone route runner. Another way Maryland featured him in the red zone, right? Middle open, what are you going to get? Double post or switch route? The key here is that the lineman is tight. These 2 routes are very, very close together. They're trying to put this guy in the wrong spot. You may have some corner help on the outside, but you want to get him to jump the outside route just a little bit to open up the inside. Watch Felton. He gets up the field, gets behind that tight end, works his way right over the linebacker, underneath the safety. That's that hole in those red zone middle open defenses right there. All right, we've seen corner routes, we've seen out routes, we've seen switch routes. How about the good old fade in the end zone? And I'll tell you what, he runs this thing as well as anyone. Watch this, the corner playing off. He's about 5 yards off, so that means he's not necessarily going to get pressed and run away, but he has to set him up, and he does a beautiful job of this. As he gets off that football, here's the spot that they're going to right there. Hence, he's lined up on the top of the numbers. They want to open up this area. All he has to do is get that cornerback to freeze in his tracks for a fraction of a second, which he does right there. Quarterback settles. Now it's just a sprint to the back of the end zone. Easy throwing catch. This guy can run all of those red zone routes. All right, we talked about the red zone, middle open. You're going to get some type of skinny post. Watch what happens, though, after the catch, because that's just as important as getting yourself wide open. You're going to see it right here. Tai Felton's up on top. Corner's giving him enough of a cushion. He's going to work to this area right here, right, to split these 2 deep middle safeties and catch that post. But Southern Cal gets to him in time at about the 2-3 yard line. But watch Felton. He just doesn't go down after he catches the football. In fact, this guy can run after the catch. So we're going to open up the field a little bit and start seeing some of that speed. In this case, we're still inside the red zone, but about the 19-yard line. As this play develops, you'll see exactly what he is looking for, right? What do we have? It's 3 deep coverage. He's got to split this corner and this safety. Doesn't have a lot of room. They're both looking at him, but he puts this foot in the ground, and he has the feeling of not bending it too wide to stay with the corner and not creating too much of a post to run himself right in that safety. This is the bang eight. This is the skinny post. Turns around, catches that football in stride, and it's an easy touchdown. We alluded to his speed earlier, but now we're in the big field, middle of the field. You'll see him lined up outside. This guy was a workhorse for Maryland. He had 96 catches this year, so they put him everywhere, and they didn't necessarily have to throw him the ball deeply to make plays because of stuff like this. Quick hitch route, catches the football about 5 yards down the field, but yards after contact is key in this guy's game. Two defensive backs, they think they've got him hemmed up right there in the sideline, 7-yard gain, move on to the next play. Able to spin out of the tackle. Now that 4-3-7 kicks in. Defensive end can't get him, corner can't get him, linebacker can't, no one's gonna get him. That thing is red. 71 yards on a hitch route. All right, now we're gonna get ourselves into these wide receiver routes. This is football 101. You see him up here at the top of your screen. This is that classic cover two look. Cornerback rolled up, safety playing deep half right there. Watch this throw and catch. He gets himself outside, trying to get into that lane between the safety and the sideline. The corner widens him out the best he can, but watch the adjustment to the football on this catch. As safety's coming over, thinks he has it, jumps in front of him, pulls that thing down for a huge, huge play. Those kind of ball skills are amazing. That's exactly what this receiving corps needs. Another thing you'll notice is when you're out in the middle of the field, you're seeing Tai Felton everywhere. You see him out here at X, now he's in the slot, he's everywhere, right? Again, 96 receptions. This is an NFL-style route against an NFL-style coverage, right? So watch him on this play. His ability to attack the middle of the field, I think, is also very, very good. You have the short cheese route right here to get this linebacker to bite. What are they trying to open? Underneath this deep middle dropper and right here in between. And again, it's zone, so watch what he does. He settles beautifully. Gets past that underneath defender, settles, catches the football. There he is, yards after contact. You can attack the middle of the field with this guy as well. Now, our final piece of evidence on this young man's route running ability, watch what he does on this play. If you're a defender, notice you're on the short side of the field, but yet this receiver's on the top of the numbers. Something's gonna happen down the field, and Tai Felton is gonna run a beautiful route. Here it is, there's the switch. Now, when Felton gets to this point, he understands that he has to get underneath this deep defender and in between this deep middle defender. So he's gonna set this guy up and watch the move he makes. He's gonna catch his football right inside of this hash mark where really there's not a ton of room. He creates the room with his route. That's the beauty of it. Nod to the outside, DB almost falls down, catches it over the middle, and makes a beautiful play. Tai Felton can line up anywhere, he can run any route, and especially good threat in the red zone. So I can't wait to see how he's gonna fit in our, let's face it, very talented wide receiver room.